Hello and welcome to the Bazaar. Today we're going to make custom tumblers. I know making custom tumblers is a project that a lot of new crafters and new laser cutter owners are really excited about getting started on making. So I hope today's video can be informative and fun and help you out on your journey. Before we get started, we have to get a couple quick measurements off our tumbler. Namely, we need to get the diameter of the larger section and the smaller section, along with the height of each section so we know what we're working with. I've got a great trick just for that, so let's hop on over to the workbench. So first thing we need to figure out is the outer diameter of this top half and the bottom half. The focal distance of a laser is very short, so we can't have the laser just go across the whole width because it'll become too distant here and it'll be out of focus. So first thing we need to do is grab some painter's tape. All I'm gonna do is wrap this around the tumbler. I'm gonna line it up with the anodized coating so I know I'm keeping it relatively straight. We don't have to be perfect. I say we don't have to be perfect as I'm trying to be perfect. Okay. And rip there. All right, so we can see we've got the complete circumference of the tumbler. And all we're gonna do is take that and put that on our handy dandy cutting mat with a ruler, and well, would you look at that? It's exactly a foot around. That's always convenient. So let's go ahead and do that again, but now on the bottom half. And that looks just about 10 inches wide or around. So then all else we need to know is the height, and you can measure that with the ruler, or if you want to, you could of course do the same way. So I'm gonna go to just before the curve starts, right there. And so now we know that the top is about 12 inches around and about 3 inches tall. So that's what we have to work with up top. And then for the bottom, we know it's about 10 inches around. And for the height, I'm gonna start right after the curve. And actually, I don't want to engrave into the logo of the cup because I just don't think it'll look nice. So I'm gonna start from here to about here. And we have about 2.5, 3, so about 2.5 inches tall to work with down here and 10 inches around. All right, so let's go ahead and hop on the computer and get our design set up.
Hopping into Illustrator, I outlined the dimensions that we measured with our tape earlier. So you can see this is the top section of the tumbler unrolled. And if we look right here, you can see that it's 6 by 12. And then the bottom portion is right here, and we have it 6 by 10. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use this template to lay out our design. My favorite color is blue, so I always try to make myself something that's Sonic the Hedgehog themed. And so remembering that everything that's black is going to be engraved, I went ahead and threw up this design just with the logo and a cover from one of the video games, and remembering that this is wrapping around, so we want the space between them about the same as the space on either side. And then for the bottom, I wanted like a repeating pattern, so it's like he's chasing the coins and the coins are chasing him. It's a circle as it spins. So to get these images into Lightburn, I'm going to select everything that I want to be done in one of the cuts, and then I'm going to go to File and Export Selection. So that way we can have separate PNGs for the top cut and the bottom cut. I go into a lot more detail in my previous video on engraving glasses, which I'll embed above and include a link on below. But the first step is to level the tumbler. Then I have this piece of acrylic I made to be able to focus the laser a set distance from the tumbler. Now I'm doing the repetitive process of finding out how many steps it takes for the tumbler to do one full rotation. So that's why I mark a starting point and make sure that the tumbler does one full revolution. Now here we can see an issue that's happening is that we're losing steps. When the tumbler is spinning, it's actually creating a little bit of friction on the lip of it that's actually causing it to not make the same number of steps forward and reverse. Now it's a very slight difference, but now if we watch, it perfectly reaches the endpoint, but on its return journey you can see it actually stops just a little bit shy. Now this is not much at all, but just something to be aware of when using these roller style rotary attachments. And it's going to be a little bit difficult and perfectionist, but I would like to have the images lined up with the logo here just for aesthetic purposes. So now that we know the number of steps it takes to rotate the tumbler, I'm just going to frame the image to see if I can line up with that logo. And we're good, so we're going to go ahead and start cutting. Now that the top half is done, we basically have to repeat the process for the bottom half. So I'm going to set the focal distance. Now I'm going to work on the number of steps it takes to make a full rotation. Now watch in horror as the rotary slowly moonwalks backwards, making the tumbler fall off.
Ah, shoot.
Now I have the fun of redoing all those steps to get it level and check everything is in focus again. Something that I didn't mention before, but is good to keep in mind, is that now that everything is set, we don't want to move the arm of the laser or the rotary attachment at all. So I actually use light burn to move the laser head out of the way. Here I am framing the bottom engraving now, and you can see how much the tumbler walks left and right when spinning either forward or backwards.
Now, cleaning these tumblers is something that there's a lot of opinions about, but I always just keep it dead simple and it always comes out great. All I use is some dish soap and the back of a sponge.
So we got our tumbler covered in ash. And we got the dish soap I'm going to use and just a regular sponge. And here you can really see that contrast of the stainless steel and the burnt anodized coating. All cleaned up and it's looking great.
Like I said in the beginning, I know this project is one that a lot of first-time crafters and early users of their laser engravers are excited to get into, and I really hope that this video was informative and helps you all out in your crafting journeys. Please go ahead and like and subscribe on this video for future crafting videos. It helps out a lot, and I can't wait to see you next time at the Bazaar.